Toucan Play That Game is proudly sponsored by NiceGameShop.com, the place to go for rare and unusual Asian games.
I've set you up a demo version of Scrumpy. So Scrumpy is a deck building game, but with 4 key differences from normal deck builders. So I'm going to describe it as a deck manipulation game because I feel that it's sufficiently different. I'm going to go highlight the main differences. You start with a deck, and this deck is full of your workers that you employ. A variety of different workers who each perform different functions. You're going to be using that deck to perform different abilities and hopefully make cider, sell that cider, earn prestige, and the most prestige will allow you to win. So, simplest level, things like the apple picker allow you to produce 2 apples. When you produce 2 apples, the first key difference, I promised you 4, there will be 4. The first key difference is that you can choose either cards from your hand or a card from the top of your deck. I've got a slightly larger hand so that I can make sure I've got the cards I need to have. You take either a card or a card blind and store them as 2 apples in your storehouse. So we now have 2 apples in our storehouse. Slightly later in the game, I now have 3 apples in the storehouse because I fudged it a little bit. Okay, I will then want to turn apples into cider. The presser can perform that function. At his base level, he can turn 3 apples into my discard pile, and a new card will make me a bottle of cider. But it's a game of efficiency. Ideally, you want to use 6 apples for 2 bottles.
The card that you make into the cider
is new, either again from your hand.
It can come from your hand. No, it's just because obviously you took it from your deck.
Anytime you make things, produce them or gain them, you are going to choose, do I want to use a card from my deck and know what it is, but it might be one I want to use now, or do I want to top deck it? Now, that gives rise to the second difference. I've promised you 4, we're on number 2. The second difference to main deck builders, you are able to do things yourself. Your workers are very good at their jobs, but you are able to do slightly weaker versions of every single action in the game yourself. Instead of using the worker in your hand that it may be that the worker you want to sell cider is currently the bottle of cider. So you can instead go here and go, okay, I'm going to sell that bottle of cider for 3 coins and 1 prestige, take my extra prestige, get some extra money, and sell my bottle of cider. Turns out it was an idle layabout. The idle layabout's pure reason for existing is to clog up your deck, but also excellently served as the resources, because if the idle layabout is there, then he is not wasting one of your good workers. Yes. So that is a basic premise of the game. But there's still, I'm sure you're aware, I've only gone through, I believe, 2 of the key differences, and there's 4 key differences, because we are going to be trying to recruit staff from the middle, and we do that using our recruiter, who is currently hiding. It will be the last card I look at, guaranteed. There he is, there she is. If you recruit, you pay the cost in the corner of these upgraded versions of the cards. These improved workers can always be bought. You can even buy them for 2 additional coins using one of your own private actions. You use your recruiter, you take an improved worker, add him to your discard pile. When the cards get shuffled back, that improved worker will come around and perform a better function. However, when you hire, you will notice that below, a head worker is better. So the improved worker is an improvement, the head worker is even better, and below that, the master worker is really, really good. So what you've got here is an interaction between players where you will lose. You may gain yourself, but open the door for someone else to gain an even better card. To stop it being a pure race for the better cards, you must have 4 prestige to be allowed to hire head workers. They won't come to work for you unless you're prestigious enough. In the demo version of the game, you can see that can happen quite quickly. But normally you start with no prestige, so you have to be making cider, selling cider, getting prestige, getting your engine going. Masters will not come to you until you have 8 prestige. You have to have done through the process a little bit, so it's an action where you have to try and work out the best efficient way to do these things. I still have only told you 3 differences from a normal deck building mechanic. The final one is when you go to discard your hand. So I've had my hand here. I look here and I go, well, I've played here. I haven't got any apples. I've pressed, but I've got no apples, so I'm going to get rid of him. Recruiter has to be discarded, but I want more apples next turn. I'm going to choose to keep my apple picker out. That is you're allowed to do because it has the keeping out symbol on the card.
Okay.
I also have in my hand 2 cards, a storage assistant and a planter. I don't want the storage assistant, but I want the planter. He didn't get used, so he's not going to be the best pleased with me. So for the cost of 1 card and 2 more cards, so total 3, I can draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm ready for my next turn. Now, should it happen that the cards I then draw are better than the one I kept out, there is no requirement for me to have to play him again. I can draw him back into my hand. But you can see here that he provides some temporary storage alongside the storage I've already got. An alternative is to use my storage assistant at some point to make my storehouse better. When I do so, I have a choice. Do I go down, allowing me more apples and more wood? Do I go across, allowing me more barrels and more cider? In the longer version of the game, that becomes quite an interesting dynamic. I've seen people, because you're allowed a storehouse of 4, I have seen people with a storehouse like that, I have seen people with a storehouse like that, and every Tetris variation in between is possible. So that gives you an insight into the mechanics of Scrumpy the game. Any questions that emerge from that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So do we want to give it a go?
Yeah, let's play a few turns. So starting hand size is 5.
Yep. And so what's going to happen is we've got these central things when the game ends. So you have got start player, Michael.
Okay.
So when these run out, we will finish that round. So whatever happens, you will get a last turn. If you win the game, then the game will end. If you win the game, we will all get one more turn. With that in mind, if you have got cider in your storehouse at the end of the game, you still score points for it. Okay, at the end of the game, you tally up points. Prestige is worth points. I'll get myself back to there. 5 coins is worth a point. We all start with 8.
That helps me with what my next question was going to be. What
Okay.
are the values on these?
So,
Because the other side doesn't have value.
so apple trees will be end game points. Storehouse gets you end game points, and the improved workers you've recruited each have end game points.
Does one of the
on them as
workers give you apple trees then?
well. So, sorry,
Does one of the workers
planter,
give you?
yes. And again,
Okay.
you can buy a new apple tree, buy it for 4 coins if you want to do that.
What do the apple trees do other than give you points?
So, when you play your apple picker, I currently cannot play my woodcutter at the same time because I only have 1 tree. And they both have a tree symbol, and so I cannot play both of them at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
When you put hidden ones here, have trees, or is it
So
only
the
them?
apple picker has more trees, and you'll notice the later apple picker has 2 trees, and if you use 1 tree, that's fine, but if you use 2, you gain an extra prestige from using it. So it's a chance to get your efficiency up even more. One thing to be aware of as well, if I, for example, use my recruiter and then my apprentice comes out, my apprentice is an interesting card, because what my apprentice does is it mimics a card I've already played. It can either mimic my recruiter and I pay more money and get another better card, or it can mimic my apple picker. But in this case, you can see I cannot use it to mimic my apple picker because I only have 1 tree, and that's been used on the apple picker. And to be him, he had to have another tree. So therefore, the apprentice can only copy fully the card I'm playing. At the end of the turn, if I'm the recruiter goes. Therefore, the apprentice must follow him because he copies the card that he's copying. Okay.
Okay. So what is wood used for then? So obviously
Wood makes
apples
barrels.
making cider, cider's making you prestige.
Yes. Wood makes barrels.
Okay.
Barrels can be optionally combined with apples to make barrels of cider rather than bottles of cider, which are better value.
Okay.
So it takes more actions to get there, so you get more reward from getting down the chain and getting those barrels of cider.
Okay. So is it suicidal for me to immediately hire a worker losing my only tree?
Hiring a worker, losing your tree.
Yeah, because don't you spend the tree to get the
No.
worker?
No. When you get a new worker, you spend money based on the coins. They are
Okay.
in-game points, they are money.
Oh, I was
That
looking
is
at...
not a cost.
Right, okay. Okay,
So you have to get your prestige up first, and then you can't hire.
So
They're just improved. They don't have any prestige
early on.
requirement.
So the improved ones you can get straight away. It's the head workers that you need to be slightly more prestigious.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for recruiter, spending 4 to get that, and then is that my turn over, or can I keep playing
Play 3
workers?
cards.
Play up to
And
3.
then you do your discard, so you could be planning your next turn. It also has speed up mechanics in terms of if you're playing to 4 or 5 players, you can say to them, okay, I'm not going to be recruiting, because that allows the next player to then begin their turn, and you can start to overlap each other's turns.
Okay. So I can do woodcutter and get 2 wood.
So either from your hand or from the top of your deck.
And oh, I've done that wrong. Because I need him. Do I have to take the 2 both, or can I take 1 from my hand, 1 from the top of my deck?
Absolutely fine.
That's fine. Okay. So I didn't see it, so it's fine. So there we go. That's 2 wood, and then investor is 2 coins.
Okay, so then when you get to your discard, to this phase, you've played your workers.
Yeah.
Investor can't stay out. Neither can recruiters. They
Yeah.
both go in your discard pile immediately. You choose whether you wish to get your woodcutter out.
But that would
and
just
that'll cost
count
you a
as
card, that'll
1
count as
card
one
in my
card of your
hand.
5.
Okay, I mean, I couldn't store all the wood if I did keep him out.
He has some storage on him as well.
Oh, right, yes. Okay, yeah, then I think I will keep that and I'll keep that, so I just
let's
draw
do
2
1,
more.
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
Okay, so, yeah,
Okay.
then I'm done.
So, I am now going to play my apple picker to produce 2 apples. Which I place in my storehouse. I am going to I'm going to use one of my personal actions as another apple, and I'm going to then use my presser to press those into a bottle of cider. That is my actions. I'm going to keep him out. She's going to go away, return him, and draw 4 new cards. Travis' turn.
I'm going to extend my warehouse from the actions. 4 coins. That lets me extend my warehouse to there. I am then going to do an apple picker, and I will do an apprentice apple picker, and
And this is where I will point out to Travis that unfortunately he can't do so, because to apprentice his apple picker, he needs another tree.
Yeah, okay. So in that case, I might as well just gain an apple. So I will just gain an apple.
So he will use a worker
So second worker.
and gain an apple.
Okay, and so I'm going to top deck it. So just that, yeah. Put those back. I'm done. So I'll put those back, and I want to keep both of these cards and that card down.
So
I
he
get
doesn't
nothing.
draw any more cards.
Right, and play my investor to get 2 coins. Apple picker to get 2 apples, which I'll take from hand. And a recruiter. The improved apple picker, I think.
I couldn't keep another card, could I? If I had one, there would be no way.
The recruiter and investor have to go, then you have a choice with the apple picker.
Keep the apple picker. Is there any difference between the worker number
No,
places?
I normally slide them down to the end just because
Yeah.
it's my OCD, but it's not something you have
That's
to do.
what I feel I need to do. So now I can
4
draw
more.
4.
Okay, so then it's back to me. So I am going to use that to just produce 2 wood. And I'm going to go with 1 from that, 1 from there. I'm going to use that to use 3 wood to produce 1 barrel. So I will go with those and then that. So those go to my discard, and then this goes to be a barrel from the top of my deck. And I get a prestige for that. Okay. Then I think I will. That'll be a useful thing for me to do right now. I think I'll just produce... I'll only be able to keep one of these out, won't I? Even though...
You can keep them both out because they both have the staying out symbol.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a case that if you've got nothing better to do, a coin is better than nothing.
I might actually just do the draw 3 cards
Get through your deck.
to get through the deck, yeah.
You can also take a look at what these 2 cards are if you hadn't already looked at them to see if you want to swap one of those cards back into your hand.
Oh, I thought it was pick one of those
No, it's
things.
all of those 3 things unless it says all.
Oh, okay. So I might as well look at them and remind myself. Okay, that's fine. This is very difficult trying to do this one-handed.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't bother. Right, so that's then me done. I can discard these?
Yep. And the manager has to go, and then you choose whether you want to keep the woodcutter and super out.
Definitely want those out. Gone. Definitely want that gone. So then I draw 3 more, yes?
Okay. Now just
And standard rules, deck is empty,
yeah,
shuffle discards?
Shuffle and draw 1 more.
That's fine.
So I'm going to demonstrate here that although I kept the apple picker out, I've now got a different set of options that I've now changed my mind on what I want to do. So I bring her back into my hand,
So I mean, in essence, keeping it out, you're just putting it back in
giving
your
yourself
hand,
the option.
in theory.
Okay, so I have decided I'm going to do the I'm going to do the cider cellar, sell that earlier bottle for 1 prestige and 4 coins. This now allows me to recruit, but because I now have 4 prestige, I now have sufficient prestige to hire a head worker. So I'll pay 8 coins to take the head presser and add that to my hand.
I get the feeling you know a lot better than us what you're doing.
I may have played 60 or 70 times up to this point. Okay, I am now going to plant using my 3 coins I have there. I get 1 change, and I also get to produce an apple, which I will do there. I am going to choose to discard, and I should probably add the tree that I just bought. They all go there. I want to keep nothing out. I'm just going to deal myself 5 new cards.
Let me just move that to there, can't I?
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick apples. One, 2. So then I'm going to gain another apple, and I'm going to press all of 6 apples into 2 bottles.
Yeah, he's just deciding what he's keeping now. So
Once you start to get the flow of the game, when you've sort of done your actions, you can then pass straight on and overlap and interweave.
Great, I'm going to put on my planter.
I mean, at the moment, the only real interaction is in this market.
It is.
Isn't it?
The interaction is mainly in the market. You've got efficiencies of trying to do things with the cards you've got. The market is where you interact. So there's way more interaction with a 5-player, 4-player game. But when you're playing with 2 players, it's real fine margins of trying to be as efficient as you can because you're trying to compete in your efficiencies. So you do have this sort of awareness of what the other people are doing, can inform you of how flexible you can afford to be.
Okay. Okay. So Sarah's done her actions, I think, haven't you? Okay. So then I am going to use my woodcutter.
There is a limit of 3 apples in your orchard and 4 rooms on your storehouse. So your planter now won't serve any real purpose.
So let's do that. So that's my woodcutter done. Then my is that right? No. That should not want to do that. I've lost track of where I've put the cards. Never mind. Okay, so use 3 wood. Doesn't matter where I put them.
And because you made a barrel, you will get a prestige as well.
Yeah. Okay, and then I can choose to keep people out or not.
I believe you've done 2 things so far. So you still have worker 3 to do.
Oh
You
yes,
have no
I
cards
can do these guys. How many coins do you get for just?
If in doubt, a coin, an apple, or a wood is always a good game.
Yeah. I think I'll go for a coin. I want to get some cider in them first. It feels inefficient to sell them without the cider in. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use my investor to get me 2 coins. Then my merchant to spend those 2 coins for 3 wood. So I need to shuffle this deck. Don't shuffle the deck because I'm going to use all these 3 cards as those 3 wood, and I'm going to use this action to turn 3 wood into an extension to my beautiful storehouse. So I feel it needs to be bigger. So I'm now going to shuffle my deck. These have to go. So I'm going to get myself 5 new cards.
Manager, draw 3 cards. 2, 3. I'm going to look at these 2 cards. Don't want either of them. Which means that I don't think I'm firing anybody. I don't think I'm firing anybody. Which means that I'm going to plant a tree for 3 coins. And then I'm going to use my apple picker to produce 2 apples. I have no plans to do barrels, so he can go there.
Okay, so the actions are all done, so I can start now.
Yes. Once he's placed all his actions, it's possible for the next person to start.
I haven't thought it all the way through, but I'll try this. I'll go foraging for an apple. Yeah.
Right, one thing you have to be aware when you're playing, in this situation, she hasn't actually used her apple picker yet. Although it's out in front of her, she's able to still use it as an action at some point in the turn.
But I can choose not to.
Yes,
Just
but
sit
you will
there.
currently
You can still store one more apple though.
you will lose those.
Yeah,
You would lose those
That's what I
apples
was
if they
going to
can't
ask.
be
You
stored.
can't move stuff.
You can move stuff around as long as you're moving them into
It
storage.
has to stay. Yeah. And the only way to gain wood from these guys would be to take a tree down.
Yeah, or just take a wood. You could use one to gain a wood.
Where is that listed?
Top option: gain an apple, wood, or coin.
One card in hand, one card on the deck.
So draw two.
Draw two. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do that. Just gain it.
So that's then your actions done, is
No,
it?
she still has to do the apple picker.
But I
may
don't
have
have
to
the
do
space
it.
to store them.
May have to do
Store
it.
one more.
Yes, you may have to do an inefficient version of it.
Yeah. Actually,
I don't have two bottles of barrel cider. I've got two bottles of cider.
I can choose not to, right? Just not use it.
Yeah, because you have to get rid of your forager. There's no point.
Oh no, I'm forgetting that I have this. Yes, okay. So,
There's nowhere for you to currently store any further apples you produce, because your forager will have to go at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
But you can produce 2 apples and throw them away immediately. It's a waste of a turn, but it gets you through your deck.
If you had idle people you wanted to get rid of out of your hand, for example, you could do that.
How many idle people are there in the dancing deck?
2.
I don't have that problem.
An alternative you could have done is, instead of using your card for the extra wood, which I'm more than happy for you to backtrack on, you could just convert 3 of your apples into a cider bottle just to free up a thing. It's slightly inefficient.
Yeah, I'm trying to head for doing a bigger amount once, so even though it means being less efficient this time,
Okay.
I'll just...
Okay, so draw 3 cards. That's too many cards. Okay, this being in brackets.
Because if it's an apprentice, it only counts as a tree if it's apprenticing a card that has a tree.
Right, so I'd need 2 trees to apprentice something with a tree. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is go with a planter. For free money gets me a tree. And then I'm going to go with an apple picker. Will get me 2 apples. Which... oh...
Sounds sensible to me.
do that with, and then I will, that goes, oh, that produced an apple as well as
Yes.
planting a tree, doesn't it? Okay, so I still need to produce that apple. So I think I'm actually gonna let both those go. Does that make sense? No. I'll keep the planter. And I'll get rid of the picker. And I'll discard that card. So I draw 2 more.
So, I'm going to sell my little apple to give me a little bit of a coin boost. I am then going to gain a coin. Also, I can then recruit with my 4 coins for the improved investor, which should fix my financial problems.
I'm going to apprentice, because now I've got 2 trees, I can do 2 pickings. That's going to be, sorry, I should have looked at that, 3, 4. Okay, and then I'm going to sell my 2 cider bottles I've already made for, they go there, for 2 prestige and 7 coins. Thank you.
Just use fourth worker would be really nice while I'm using this storage apple picker.
I feel like I've been very inefficient here compared to everyone else.
I wouldn't worry about it. I am the king of inefficiency.
Yeah, I think I'm doing right on inefficiency. I'll do that just for a wood. Okay, to turn my 3 words into my bottle. When you're turning wood into barrels, it's still from hand or from deck.
Yeah, you discard
Not
the
your wood
barrels.
cards. Yeah.
Sorry, you discard the wood cards, then you place them. So that's your actions all done, isn't it? Yeah. So first thing I'm going to do is use that to plant another tree, because everyone loves trees. And produce 1 apple, which can go there. I will then use improved press to do 4 apples and a barrel into a barrel of cider. So how does a barrel of cider work? So how does a barrel of cider work? Do you just do the barrel under the cider?
The barrel that was there
Yeah.
gets rotated round.
Okay, so you don't doesn't get discarded.
The one time that you don't discard it, it fills
Oh,
the barrel that
okay.
you had with cider.
So
It doesn't matter in this case if you didn't know which one it was.
and that gives me nothing. Okay. But then I can use that to sell, because these are the only ways to sell, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, no, you can sell using a merchant as well, and the cider seller.
Oh, which I've
sells
actually
cider.
got in my hand. What's he do?
The merchant can't sell barrels of cider, but the cider seller can.
Oh, okay. Is
also-
cider seller one of the advanced
Well, no,
ones,
so you
or?
can always look through your deck. So you see my cider seller is in my discard pile, so you can see what's there.
Okay, I have not seen that yet,
Okay.
so it's probably under there.
So it could well be,
Um,
so it might be a good idea to use your thing, or you wait patiently and see if it comes up.
I think I'm going to wait patiently and draw some cards to cycle through my deck, and then also be able to look at these and see if it is there. Okay, it's not there,
So you may well
so
have
I
got it now.
may now have it. No, still don't have it.
So it may well be drawn in your next hand. Then.
Yeah, which is fine, because
You can also fire a card. So if you've got your presser, because you've got an improved version, firing the presser works well. If you haven't decided if any of these cards aren't worthwhile using, you do not have to use the hire and fire mechanic.
okay, I'm just going to leave it, I think. So do I want to carry any of these over?
Firing would just take it out of your deck.
Yes.
No, I'm just going to
Getting
get...
your deck out.
Yes.
I'm just going to discard the whole lot and draw a new hand.
Okay, I'm going to use the woodcutter, but he's gone a bit crazy, chopping down an entire tree for 6 wood. I am then going to use 4 of those wood to produce a barrel. those actions. And I'm going to sell one of them for 2 coins. You will notice I'm being very inefficient in my play.
No, it seems pretty efficient compared to mine.
I'm going to press all 6 apples. Again. For 2 bottles. I'm going to use the cider cellar to sell the 2 bottles for 2 prestige and 7 coins.
I feel we have a clear winner at the moment.
Recruit.
He's been doing quite well.
And I've got 7 annoyingly. Otherwise, I've had that master presser. So I'll just take their head investor. Yeah. Okay.
I'll get my presser out. To clear all my apples.
The good thing about the setting up of the game, if you wanted it to be a shorter game, you can set it up to far less prestige. And if you want to play the full game, it's set up to a different player count of different prestige you go to, so the game doesn't vary a great deal in length.
Yeah.
So 2 players would play up to 36 prestige, so 18 each. 3
Okay.
players play up to 45, which is 15 each. 48 for 4 players and 50 for 5 players. So by doing that, the game doesn't necessarily last a great deal longer with a larger player count.
Yeah. Okay. You done?
What point does the hiring or firing happen? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter, you do those 3 actions in any order.
Okay, well I'm going to fire my apple picker.
Was that using a manager?
Oh, that's the way
It was an
works.
action on the manager.
Right, okay. There we go.
So is that your turn done?
Yes, I'm just clearing up.
Okay, so cider cellar, sell barrel of cider for 10 coins and 2 prestige, I think. Then apple picker will produce 2 apples.
Is that before the end of the turn? So I'm going to roll 1 and chop it down.
Not if it takes you over 3.
So 2 apples. And then recruiter will allow me to hire a new person. And I'll go for the head picker. So that's me done.
Okay, I'm going to try and get some sort of money thing going. So 4 points for my improved investor, 2 points for my investor, giving me 8 in total. 6 plus 4.
I'll put it in a game again.
Recruiter. And then
Did I just recruit the card you wanted?
you may, definitely not. That would never be a thing. I'm going to get the improved storage assistant because why not? 4.
Woodcutter will chop down this tree, and that gets me 6 wood. 2. 6. There. Then do a planter to spend 3 coins to get my tree back, and then I'm going to use my apprentice. Because now I've got 2 trees again. I can spend another 3 coins and get another tree. Button.
And another apple.
And 2 apples.
Can you extend your storehouse in a direction that you already have stuff in?
Yeah. Yes. You just slide the things
Yeah.
down.
Okay. I use one of these guys to gain a coin, which I'm going to
I'm going
immediately
to risk leaving
spend
the apprentice out.
3 coins to extend my
Apprentice
storehouse.
can't stay out. He's got to stay out with someone.
Cool.
And this is one where I get both of the effects.
Yes.
So I can view the whole thing in there. To remind myself what it was. That's fine. And then I will produce some apples.
So that's you then done, isn't it, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, so I will. I'll do. Actually, no. First, I will do storage assistant.
That's it.
Paying 3 coins to extend storage. I'm going to extend this way. Then I will use apple picker. Oh, and I can view 2 cards and swap one if I want. I'm not going to. Apple picker produced 2 apples. And then I'll apprentice my apple picker to produce 2 more apples. So that's me done.
So, I am going to use my merchant, pay 2 coins to produce 2 apples and a wood. Sorry, 2 wood. 2 apples, 3 apples. There is method to my madness. 3 apples.
You bought 3 apples for 2 coins.
For 2 coins. I'm then going to spend 2 coins to buy, shuffling the deck, 2 wood and another apple. Because I've got my apprentice out. So, 2 wood and a further apple. And then my Cooper turns those 3 wood into a barrel, giving me a prestige.
What's it? Cooper for 3 wood produces a barrel. No, hold on, no, not right. Hold on. No, sorry, manager. Draw 3 cards. I've only got 3 cards from this card pile, so they go into my hand. Cooper, 3 wood into a barrel, and then my apprentice was in my discard pile, so I apprentice my other. Now I need to do a barrel first from here, don't I? Oh no, top deck. Top deck, my first barrel there. And then make an apprentice for another 3 wood, and make another barrel, and that's going to be. Forager. So that's 2 prestige. Toucan.
I'll get the cider seller out to sell this barrel for 10 coins to prestige. Wood cutter just to produce 2 wood. Forager to produce an apple and a wood.
And that's you done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a woodcutter, removing a tree to get 6 wood. What if you don't have enough cards to do what you want to do?
Well, you can never get stuck. So that if it's just because you're trying to make a monumental amount of resources,
Yes.
then you
Just
just
can't
discard
do-
cards to make those resources, but you are limited by the cards
Yeah.
that you have.
Okay, so I will not do that because that will cripple me completely. I'll play that to produce 2 wood. That seems much more sensible. Actually, no. First, I will play my presser. That makes the most sense. That frees up cards. Yes. There we go. And a barrel into side up. Then I will do woodcutter to produce 2 wood. Yeah, we'll just go with 2. And then apprentice to... No, that's not the apprentice. Where's the apprentice? Apprentice to copy that to produce another 2 wood. Yeah. Then that definitely goes. Those are going to go.
Discard pile only.
And
So, me to go?
yeah,
Improve
sorry.
investor for 4 coins, invest for 2 coins, so that's 6 coins.
It's 2, 3.
Improve storage assistant, and I can fill 5 of those coins. Improve my storage house twice. So we'll do.
I feel like I've not bought enough of those and that they're key to doing well in this.
Discarding all of those.
Apple picker. Those 2. No. Manager first. Flexibility over. 1, 2, 3. And that lets me look at 2 cards in my warehouse. Then I pick 2 apples. I am firing the planter, sorry. And then I'm picking 2 apples, which is going to be those 2. Like that. So 3 apples there. And then I'm pressing.
That's a good idea.
Am I short?
Planning out your turn by putting the cards face down and then just flipping them.
No, I'm short an apple. I can't press this turn. That's annoying. Alright. Okay. So then I might as well. I need to get to.
It's one of those games that with more plays you start to see new routes that go through the game and things. There are shortcuts, there are different things you can try. I've seen various different strategies come out with lots of points, but trying different things. Just depending on what cards you've got available.
It's going to gain an apple. Yeah, done. That goes there.
So the manager is out.
Have you been taking them from here?
Why?
Because we finish when we've run out, so I wanted to make sure that these haven't been taken.
not seeming very even at the moment.
But sometimes it can be funny when you find out how you got on at the end.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I barely bought any workers yet, so
Well, I've only bought 2. I think you bought quite a lot of new workers.
Sadly.
Why is that sad? They're worth victory points, aren't they?
The one I want is somewhere under here, and it's not any of the ones I looked at.
I think that's the problem I'm having. I'm cycling through my jet trying to find a card. I think it's under there somewhere.
Using these workers at the right time can feel inefficient,
think
but
I'm
it's
gonna
massively
have to do
more
it.
efficient than not being able to ever
Just
do the
cycling
thing.
through and not doing what you want to do, yeah.
It's your turn now, I believe.
Yes, I'm part way in. I'm just going so slow you wouldn't notice.
lovely. That's better.
Are you going to be recruiting?
No.
Okay, I'm going to start my turn then, just to speed things up. So... Cooper, free wood to produce a barrel. Yes, there it is. So at least I identified where the card I was looking for was. That's useful. Then I will produce 4 apples. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get 1 prestige because I'm using 2 trees.
Sorted out an artist for the show.
And then I'll use this to... I think I'm going to sell a barrel of cider for 4 money and
Which will
2 prestige, isn't it?
not trigger the end game.
Not that I'm doing a mad desperate grab for points
Okay.
now.
I am going to grab an apple,
Anyway.
press my 5 apples, and one of my barrels into a barrel of cider, and sell my other apple, my other barrel, for 4 coins.
Me.
Press barrel of cider. Still barrel of cider.
I find it hard to believe how many exhibitors start packing up midday on a Sunday.
You're expressly told as an exhibitor that you're not to pack away until 4 o'clock on Sunday.
Empty spaces.
6. And then
Have
prestige.
your free cider mat.
Can I have 3 prestige? Can I have another 2 prestige?
Oh, blimey.
Making cider, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to have another turn then.
Pay, pay 3 coins.
Because that's it, and it gets round, isn't it?
Prestige.
Anything here worth anything?
Yes. The only thing I would do is take out all of those apples and wooden things and see if any of them are improved workers.
I mean,
But then themselves being...
You get a
I
turn.
get my turn.
Yeah, you get your turn.
Play out that round, yeah. And in the end game scoring, is it 1?
5 coins is 1. Prestige tokens, trees, storehouse, and workers. So if you can get those wood into a barrel, and you can get those, you can then, if you're able to then press, that would be very advantageous to you efficiency-wise.
I was going to be able to next turn, but...
So 4 wood into a barrel and a prestige works quite well for you.
Yeah, that's what I was
Only bought the 2.
Have you already sold? Did you use the cider seller?
No.
Okay. So it can come back into your hand then.
Because you don't have any cider to sell.
Yeah.
Remember, you will still score prestige for it, even if you don't get money for it at the end.
Yeah. So I'm going to draw a few cards.
It's a shame it ended. Finally got to the point where I was got a bit of money and I can start buying some cards. I
I've
never
got
used them.
no
me
money.
Either.
Yeah, I never used. Oh no, I did use that, didn't I? Yeah, no, okay. But yeah,
You got buried early on and didn't get come out. But what can you do?
I think that's a nice element of this game, and it makes the whole cards that allow you to look and swap really valuable.
That's why I'm calling it a deck manipulator rather than a deck builder, because although there are a central pool of cards to buy, making it not quite purely solitaire,
Yeah.
a lot of it's about the way you manage your deck and manipulate it to get it out at the right time.
I found getting money to buy anything very hard. I don't know if I was just being too greedy trying to get it in as cider barrels.
Interestingly,
I should have spent the early game just
a mer-
getting the quick things and
A
selling them
merchant
to
can
build
sell
an
2
engine.
apples for 4 coins, but a lot of people forget that. So actually, you can pick and use the merchant and gain 4 coins.
Just
in
don't
return.
get the prestige.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I was focused too much on getting the maximum
And
sale.
that's where the
and I think you
interaction.
should focus on doing that later in the game.
That's where the
Yeah.
secret interaction comes, because you're also racing for this pool of central
Prestige, yeah.
where knowing how fast other people go, it can inform your strategy as well. Because if someone else is going mainly for money and things like that, you've got far more time to build a bigger
Cooper in a barrel.
engine.
To get your
Yeah.
prestige for Cooper in a barrel.
So I really like to put
So I might as well. It's 5 points to get anything,
You've got
isn't
your
it?
press.
No,
No.
4 is still important. It's
Have you done the
it's
managers?
tiebreaker.
Have you done all the managers' actions?
Yeah.
You looked
That's
at cards
what- that's
underneath
what-
and you didn't find it. No.
No.
There's no.
It's going to be possible.
It may well be that the best thing you can do here is to turn those 3 apples into a single bottle.
Yeah. If you look here,
Yeah.
hold on. Oh, is it 7? You need 7 apples to do that. So yeah,
Use
you-
3
yeah.
apples to
At
produce
least
one
that will get
bottle.
you a press.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get a prestige for it though. Do you?
No, you get a
Well,
bottle.
because the
and
bottle
bottles
will
are
be
worth it.
worth the prestige when we add up the total score.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
I think that
Sorry,
probably
yeah.
is the best thing to do. Just to it's 3, yeah.
Extra storehouses don't
That's
count
it.
for anything.
That's
do
the end
they?
of the game.
So then what we do is we go through final scoring. So we add up our cubes each. So I've got 5. And then I also have a barrel of cider, so that's worth 8. Because that's worth 3, so it's 8 total. Michael has 5, 10, and no cider, so that's
No.
10. Sarah has
7 cubes.
7 plus a bottle is 8. And Travis has
12 plus 9.
12 plus 9. We then look at all our entire deck, sorting them into our original deck, which scores no points, and
So,
our workers we
3
bought.
points for workers
So
for me.
3 for Michael, 4 for Paul,
2 for me.
2 for Travis.
It's just, but where is it? Last card.
Last one.
Yeah.
Always the last one. It always is. 1 for you. Coins are worth 1, and you need the remainder as well. So I've got 1 remainder 0.
2 remainder 2.
0 remainder 4.
Remainder 0. Trees. 3 for
3.
Sarah, 3 for Michael, 1 for Paul,
3 for me.
3 for Travis. Storehouse, I've got 4.
I had 2, I threw 1 back.
So 2 for Michael, 2 for Sarah,
3 for me.
3 for Travis. Meaning the final totals, Michael ends up with 18. Sarah ends up with 16. Paul ends up with 17. And Travis ends up with 20.
So fairly close, really. Closer than I expected.
And because you will have a slightly closer game because it's a demo version, so we've had less building time. but obviously later in the game it does speed up. It's not just all the same speed, because the more powerful cards start to make things happen quite quickly. And as we see, Sarah was one turn away from a very, very big point scoring turn, and so that definitely probably won't be used against her later today. So can I just ask us to remove the improved workers, and they would then return to their stacks. And that is Scrumpy.
I like it.